The judge, Penny Escarati, has banned Eve Barlow from the courtroom for the remainder of the trial.
And I see security go to a woman that looks like Eve Barlow and escort her out of the courtroom.
This is a woman who arrives every day with Amber Heard in their vehicle when they pull into court.
She's one of those supporters who sits on one of the front rows right behind Amber Heard's counsel there. She was sitting there. She sometimes arrives with Amber to court as well. This is a friend of hers.
Looks like the case is starting to swerve towards Johnny Depp's side of the fence as reports are claiming a huge loss on Amber's end. In general, it's not particularly uncommon for people to get kicked out of court, but it looks like this time it did a lot more damage than Heard and her team were even prepared for. Did Amber get kicked out of court? Is the case over? Even amid the ongoing legal battle between Johnny Depp and his ex-wife Amber Heard, the drama still never seems to end, as reports have stated that a member of Team Heard recently got thrown out of the courtroom. According to a source who attended the $50 million defamation trial on Thursday, Heard's close friend, British music journalist Eve Barlow, was dramatically thrown out of the trial. Barlow, who has seemingly been inseparable from Heard for several years, has allegedly been acting like a part of the actress's legal team and even attempted to intervene in the trial over Depp-friendly witness Gina Deuters. The source stated that the former deputy editor of the music Bible NME and a New York Magazine contributor got into it with the judge after texting and tweeting from the front row of the courtroom, which is usually reserved for legal counsel. Amber had her closest journalist friend sit front and center with her legal team at the trial, live tweeting, texting, and posting information, a source stated. Eve Barlow seems to think she's part of Amber's legal team. Depp's lawyers finally had enough and had her barred from the courtroom. The insider went on to explain that Barlow had interfered with the legal proceedings by asking her legal team to show Judge Penny Escarati that Deuters was allegedly compromised as a witness. Additionally, Escarati also objected to Barlow's texting and tweeting, according to court transcripts. She was tweeting live from my courtroom, and I know the deputies took her out because she was texting. That's against the court order. Ms. Barlow is not coming back into the courtroom during this trial. According to the sources on site, Barlow's interference was by bringing up a social media post made by Deuters, claiming it was a recent post from the current trial. In a shocking turn of events for her, the post actually happened to be from 2021 during Depp's prior trial against the Sun newspaper in London. As fate would have it, Gina Deuters, the wife of Depp's longtime employee Stephen Deuters, stated on the day that she had indeed seen clips of the trial online prior to giving testimony.
I've seen clips of it online, yeah.
You've been watching, so you have seen parts of this trial?
Yeah.
She was later dismissed from the courtroom and her testimony was struck from the record. In response to their loss of a witness, Depp's lawyers decided to bring forth a motion to have Barlow permanently barred from the courtroom, which the judge approved. Even with the major loss on Depp's end, several fans still somehow think he is the victim in the case, and a lot of them have been speaking up. One user wrote, "This is why I'm so mad about this case. I'm pretty sure they both asshole though. Did both of them show up at court looking battered to hell and they get photographed at lunch later that day without all the fake bruise makeup they had been wearing? And did both of them lose their movie deals? No, on all accounts." Another user wrote, "It doesn't matter what the truth is or how much of it comes to light. There will always be people who feel that no matter what happens, a woman can do no wrong. She can verbally abuse, lie while being taped, cut off their partner's finger, and for whatever reason, there will always be someone who asks, well, what did Johnny do to deserve it?" Agreeing with the second user, someone else wrote, "You are absolutely right. Anyone who gives her a pass for abuse simply because she's a woman, those people are sexist and their opinions should be muted. That kind of biased view is what's wrong with society. That preference, regardless of the context, speech of any format, Johnny was abused. That woman is a horrible person." While to some others, the whole Barlow situation was inconsequential because they believe both Depp and Amber were abusers. They wrote, "It already came and went in the UK. Wife beater was an accurate description of him as determined by the UK courts. Both are abusers, neither should act again. This American sham of a trial is a show and nothing more." So far, Barlow still hasn't made any public statements on the situation, which makes one wonder if this was actually planned. Well, the idea probably isn't too far-fetched, given that there's a lot of history between Barlow and Heard. Speaking of history, the case being dragged dates all the way back to 2019 when Depp sued over Heard's 2018 Washington Post op-ed, in which she wrote about surviving domestic violence even though she never mentioned Depp by name in the article. At first, Depp sued the British tabloid The Sun for calling him a wife-beater, but then in 2020, he lost the highly publicized UK libel lawsuit as the court upheld the outlet's claims as being substantially true, and Heard testified to back up those claims. Later in March 2021, the Pirates of the Caribbean star attempted to overturn the decision, but was quickly overruled. This time, however, Depp is taking a different route, as he's suing Heard directly and not a media company, making her obligations and requirements to participate in the proceedings different this time around. Prior to the commencement of the trial, Heard had previously asked to dismiss Depp's Virginia lawsuit, arguing that the UK judgment should hold sway on the proceedings in the US, since both lawsuits center on allegations of Depp as an abuser. In August, however, a Virginia judge granted Depp the right to pursue his lawsuit, denying Heard's supplemental plea to dismiss the case. Now, after several postponements since he originally filed the $50 million lawsuit in March 2019, Depp's trial has officially kicked off in Fairfax, Virginia, and based on his 3-hour-long testimony, among other things, he appears to be taking the lead. Depp acknowledged in his testimony that he and Heard had arguments during the relationship, but said, "Never did I myself reach the point of striking Miss Heard in any way, nor have I struck any woman in my life." He also went on to talk about how his relationship with his parents also had an effect on his life, describing it as tumultuous, and also mentioned the verbal and physical abuse he and his siblings experienced by their mother. Later, he alleged that the first experience with taking controlled substances occurred when he was roughly 11 years old and would take his mother's prescription pills to escape the chaotic nature of what we were living through. During his testimony, Depp also reminisced about the early part of his relationship with Heard and how great things were for them. "Our relationship was intensely passionate and at times volatile, but always bound by love. From what I recall, what I remember, she was too good to be true. She was attentive, she was loving, she was smart, she was kind, she was funny, she was understanding. We had many things in common," he said. Depp went on saying Heard was wonderful for some time between a year and a year and a half. He also described growing close to Heard's family. And while this went on, Depp wasn't the only one that reminisced about their past. Heard also spoke about it, even going as far as admitting that she still had love for Depp, even after all they've been through recently. "I've always maintained a love for Johnny, and it brings me great pain to have lived out the details of our past life together in front of the world," she wrote. "At this time, I recognize the ongoing support I've been fortunate to receive throughout these years, and in these coming weeks, I'll be leaning on it more than ever." However, according to Depp, the trajectory of things started to change shortly after. In his words, "When things just started to change, or things started to reveal themselves, is a better way to put it. Now, a lot of new facts and developments have been brought forward during the trial, with one of them being the revelation made by Heard's associate, Eve Barlow. And although that led her to getting kicked out of the courtroom, it still managed to leave a major dent on Depp's case. With several fans supporting Depp and a few exes corroborating his story as a non-assaulter against Heard and her own equally substantial heap of witnesses, it's unclear who is actually ahead in this case. But sooner than later, we're going to find out, and just a quick heads up, it might not be what we expected. Tell us what you think is ahead. That's it for now. Catch you on the next one.